Yep, mods are still good in sub mode. What's up, everybody? How we doing today? Should be live shortly. My coffee's almost done. Praise the flicker! What's up, Cheebard? How we doing, everybody? Am I in both ears today? Am I talking in both ears? For whatever reason, XSplit likes to revert my camera to, likes to revert it to stereo when I want it on mono. I am using new cameras. What's up, Zero Trip to me? How you doing? Libby, great to see you. Lord Vashi. Indeed, nice to have you here, Derek. But yeah, we got new cameras, new Logitech C920s. I got one for those for downstairs too. It looks much nicer. Yes, flip perspective over the burners. The cutting board's kind of dark. I'll work on the lighting next week, but overall, much higher quality cameras. I wasn't sure how cooking with Frag was going to go over to begin with, so I bought some cheap cameras to start, and then we upgraded them. Alright, so we got stew redemption going on today. I'm going to take my time cutting stuff. I'm not going to cut myself on any potatoes. We're going to have a nice, delicious beef stew. Now you can watch my lack of shoes, actually. I cook in socks, which is apparently dangerous, but whatever. Okay, first things first, we're going to start our roux. That's what we did first last time. All the roux is butter and flour. This is going to be our end-game thickening agent for the roux. What I learned on the stew last time is I only need a half stick of butter. This is all the little thickener we're going to need. So we'll just let that melt down slowly, and we'll get started on chopping stuff. Alright. Oh hey, help my burner was on. There we go. Nice and slow. Well, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. Yeah, you can slip and fall. Also, if you drop a knife on the floor, or drop a pot or pan, or somebody runs into you, so on and so forth, is why every kitchen has the closed shoes or closed-toe shoes policy. Dropping a knife on your foot is probably the worst that could happen. We're going to be doing stew today, and I think next week I'm going to talk about salads. Salad's something that's really simple, but also something that has a lot of different ingredients you can put into it, and there's definitely a fine balance to be found in salads. So I think that's what we're going to do. Hot oil, all that good stuff. That is for the entire bit of cooking. I think if we were doing Paula Deen cooking, that would be a lot more than a half stick of butter. Where did I put... It's up here. I know, because I put it away. There it is. Alright, so we're going to cut up all the stuff beforehand, and then we're going to sear off the meat. And then I'm just going to talk to you guys. So we're going to get everything chopped and done before we even start. This is all the celery they had. It's a little weenie piece of celery. That's okay, though. Alright. This actually looks really clean. We'll still give it a rinse, though. All the dirt and celery and other root vegetables is usually right down in the bottom. The bottom half, that's where all the dirt collects. So the trick with stew for me, or what I like in my stew, is to have everything be just about bite-sized. Everything should fit on a spoon. Just gonna take it nice and easy today. Salad should be an interesting thing to talk about. I'll probably show how to make your own salad dressing if you so choose to, and the different components that make up a complete salad. So I mean, most people have salad, they have lettuce, croutons, and dressing. There's a lot of stuff you can do to salads to make them really tasty. You gotta have the balance between the salty, sweet, crunchy, all those fun elements. So I just get celery in my hair probably. My hair is once again huge today. Should probably remember not to super wash it the day before I do this. Okay, we got our butter melting. As soon as that's melted down, all we're going to do is add flour and make a roux, put that to the side, and that'll be what we use to thicken the stew at the end. Roux is a really simple thickening agent. If you're like gluten intolerant or something, you can use cornstarch or arrowroot. Arrowroot's considerably more expensive. The nice thing about arrowroot is that it has it has a better texture than cornstarch. Most people don't even know what arrowroot is, but it's like this. It is another thickening agent that is not very commonly used in the home kitchen, but it works exactly like cornstarch. Nice, Kilpenny. Wusthof is a good brand of knife. They're very solidly built. Yes, it is in sub mode, Brotato, for the cooking section, and then I do one other cooking or sub mode on Sunday for AMA. Because I really have no way to moderate the chat, and the 2 times I tried to not do sub only on this day, it was really trolly. So that was that. Holy God, that's heavy to pinch with the finger. Point being, the mods weren't having a fun time, and I can't control anything, so nobody's having a good time. And that's not what we want. Okay. Okay, so roux is equal parts butter and flour. Now, I don't have a scale or anything to make that happen, so we're just going to do it by eye, which is not too hard. Just want to add flour and mix it in. What you're looking for here is kind of a solid clump. You want to be able to run your spatula through it and have it not come back together. Well, that's not even close. It's way too runny. And what you're doing by cooking this down like this, you're cooking out all the, well, floury taste. If you've ever tasted just straight flour, well, it doesn't taste very good. There's many different levels of roux that you can do if you're making stuff like gumbo. Sometimes you even go for like a black roux, which is cooked for an extremely long time to get all the flavors out. But for this, we'll just be doing a simple blonde roux, which is just adding enough flour to make it thicken and then letting it cook for a minute. I'm kind of pressing down with the spatula when I do this to make sure that I'm getting all the clumps of flour out. That's still not quite there. Almost, though. Now, if it's a little bit runny, it's not the end of the world. Actually, that might be right there. It's a little bit runny, it's not the end of the world. But kind of what you want is for it to, if you pull it through, it doesn't really run into each other. We're just going to add just a little bit more flour, and that'll be good. And we're going to have to babysit this for a minute because we're not cooking it in the pan I'd like to. Okay. Should we get all the stuff off the sides? Okay, that's pretty good right there. Maybe a little bit runny, but that's not going to hurt anything. All we want is that nice thickening agent at the end. The rule for roux is hot liquid, cold roux, cold liquid, hot roux. That does not mean like frozen roux or refrigerator temperature roux. What you're looking for is room temperature goes into hot liquid, and since we have a very hot stew, we want to get this done and sitting off to the side so we have a room temperature roux to add to our liquid. This ensures that the roux will fully thicken the liquid and there won't be any roux chunks left over. Oh yeah, that's nice. Alright, we'll let that sit for a second. Hope the sides don't crusty up. Oh, they probably will. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'll show you what happened last time on cooking with Frag. It's not bad anymore, but I definitely have a scar waiting to happen on my finger. Yeah, Tadius, if you're gonna use asparagus in most any soup, you have to add it right towards the end, because that's the only way you get it to not completely disintegrate. That's what asparagus likes to do. It likes to disintegrate. It's definitely a little bit wet, but that's okay. Now, when you add a roux or any thickening agent to any liquid, general rule is about 10 minutes for it to completely thicken the liquid and cook out anything like the flour or the cornstarch or whatever it may be. 10 minutes is on a simmer is what you want. We do have a roux going. How you doing today, Mr. Encryptio? I'm using the same stuff, but I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about things. I forgot to add peas last time. I never got to finish off the stew, so I didn't get to show the final seasonings and all that, which is why we're doing it again. So it's pretty much the same. So I apologize if it's boring to you if you've already seen the stew, but we'll be doing something new next week. Okay, that's good enough. It moves around in the pan. That's good enough for me. So what we're going to do is just add... Just dump this on a plate, and we're just going to let this cool down. If you end up adding a roux of this temperature to your stew, you're going to end up with a mucky mess, and there will be clumps of roux unless you cook it for a really aggressive amount of time, which is usually not what you want to do. Fair enough, Reed. Fair enough. Yeah, we're gonna do salads next week, and then I'm gonna kind of figure out where I want to go from there. I honestly don't know. I'm a bit of an impasse right now on what I want to cook, but might do some seafood stuff. We haven't done any seafood yet. Once the weather gets better, I definitely want to do some more grilling stuff. I can show how to cut steaks and whatnot. How to cut your own New York strip. How to clean a fillet. I think that's a skill everybody should have. That will save you a ton of money. Filet mignon is just super ultra expensive if you buy it pre-cut. Not that it isn't expensive for a beef tenderloin, but save a lot of money cutting it yourself, and it's really not that not terribly complicated. I guess I'll just pose the question, what would you guys like to see? If you have a specific genre of something, maybe not something super specific that you want to see me cook or show how to cook, you can send me a message on Twitch TV or holler at me in the chat or do what you want to do. But I'm definitely open for suggestion. I've gotten most of the basic stuff I want to do out of the way. Probably do a couple more soups in coming weeks too. It is winter time, so soups are always a good thing to have on hand. The problem with making a poll is I have to make all the different areas that would be cooked, where people can just do that. Goulash, good stuff. No, I have not done salmon yet. I haven't done any seafood yet, although salmon season is near. I could do chili. Honestly, I haven't made too many chilies, but I understand how to make a good chili. All right. Well, I'm going to get the carrots cut, onions, garlic, and then we're going to move into the meat and potatoes. The dreaded potatoes. I'm not gonna do anything too fancy with my stew. I don't care about fancy cuts in stew. It's supposed to be chunky and meaty, and if it's not all that consistent, it's not a huge deal. Stew is not what I would call a refined food. It's a tasty comfort food. So we're gonna cut all our things into strips before we do anything else. This is the #1 thing to save time when you're cutting stuff, is make sure you do it one step at a time. So we peeled all our carrots. Then we trimmed all the carrots, then we cut them all in half, and now we can work with them from here. So we have a nice pile to work with, and everything's the same size. Like right here, I don't have to worry about cutting myself doing this because I can use proper technique the entire time. My problem was I went crazy on the potatoes last time and did something not smart. And that's usually when you cut yourself. Alright, carrots. We're going to have some downtime here. I did want to do something else today, but I never got to getting the ingredients. So we'll do a very ingredient-heavy section next week when we talk about salads. But I'll once again combine the AMA time into the cast tonight. Alright. We got some elephant garlic. The good thing about elephant garlic is it's really, it's a lot more mild than its other garlic cousins. Probably because of the size. I don't know, it's not so acidic compared to other garlics. So you can use a lot more of it and you still get that nice mellow garlic flavor without the, oh my god, that's too much garlic. Yeah, those garlic cousins, you watch out for them. You better watch out for them. Yeah, nachos. Like you can't cook nachos. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Okay. So we're going to cut this similar to the way we cut an onion by cutting it one way and then the other, and then it'll be nice little cubes. Okay, there's that. We'll finish off the other piece. So stew is really all about layering the flavors. If you just throw everything into a pot at once, it's not going to taste too great. It's about pulling the different layers of flavors off. So what we're going to do for layers of flavor is we're going to sear off the meat. Once the meat is seared off, we're going to deglaze it with red wine. And then we add our onions and garlic, which adds the next level of flavor. That's the nice base for your stew, where you can take a bite and you go, that's hearty. That's where all that flavor comes from. The rest of it just comes from the beef stock, but getting that first level of flavor on the stew is the most important thing. And pretty much goes with anything simple. The first couple of steps on whatever you're doing is going to dictate the overall flavor of your dish. What's up, Sizena? How you doing? I will type out how to cook the stew in detail on this week's YouTube video, so I'll definitely have that available. But stew is something I like to cook a lot. Not something I cook very often, but it is very tasty, pretty healthy, and will get you through a cold winter night. Dude, Daniel's cats, or Mr. Chicken's cats, are going nuts. He's been gone for 3 days now. They're freaking out. Alright. Okay, not gonna do anything fancy here, just gonna cut down a couple times. I'm always keeping in mind I want a spoonful when I cut this stuff. Everything should fit onto a spoon. Oh, now we get the fun part, the meat. Alright. Okay, first thing, we're going to get our pot heating up before we mess with the meat, because we want a nice hot pan when we get to searing the meat. You'll hear me say this probably 100 times more, not just tonight, but pretty much every cooking section I do. You want a nice hot pan. I'm going to add about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of oil. If you don't have the nice hot pan, you will never achieve color on whatever you're searing. There's very few applications that will ask for a cold pan, and there's a good reason for it. Okay, we're just going to make something to season the meat with here. We're going to go salt. Let's see. Didn't even know we had Old Bay. Wonder how old that is. I usually just wing it when I go with the spices. This is something that's fun to play with. I mean, you can do whatever you want, especially if you're doing something simple like seasoning meat. It may affect the overall taste just a little bit of your finished product, but it's not going to make it inedible or anything like that. So have some fun with it. So many spices. Okay. We're going to go salt, black pepper, do some paprika. Paprika adds color more than anything, but it does have a flavor, especially when you use it to sear. And I'm also going to add cumin. Cumin's one of my favorite spices. It's really earthy. A little bit goes a long way, but you'll definitely be able to taste a little bit of that in the stew. Holy. Too much. So that's what we'll season our meat with. Doesn't have to be much. That's fine. It's always good to play around with spices. I'll do a more in-depth spice section at some point, but I need to go buy and refill my spice rack before I do that. So that's definitely coming. Yeah, cumin is a great spice. Definitely, if you have a heavy hand with it, you may end up regretting it, but it really adds a depth of flavor to a lot of things. It's one of my favorite spices to use, even in like very small moderation. Especially in black beans, that's my favorite. Yep, not edited. I can cut my finger off. It's true. That can definitely happen. You know, there is no going back on live streaming. Either you nail it, or you mess up. Okay. So we're gonna cut the meat first, get that searing, then we'll cut the potatoes, and then we'll layer everything from there. So I'm actually using 3 pounds of stew meat because it came in a 3-pound package. I recommended 2 pounds, which is more than enough meat. The trick here is getting this to be the right size chunks, because we once again want a spoonful, not any more. Oh, that was close. That's what happens in live cooking. I almost made a mess. Okay, so like piece like this, there's no way it's going to fit on your spoon, so about half that. That's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, if you have a chunk that size, it's not like you can't eat it. It's going to be nice and tender because of the nature of stew, but sometimes it's in the details that make the difference between something good and great. Texture is definitely a big deal for me. The better the texture is, the better it tastes. Texture can actually save some pretty bad dishes. Obviously, if something's inedible, it's inedible, but a pleasant texture on the palate covers up a lot of errors. You want to be careful of silver skin. It's not a huge deal in stew, but if you see any big chunks of, well, that nasty silver skin stuff. I'm going to adjust the lighting after this week in here. New cameras definitely pick up the light differently. They're a completely different brand from what I was using. But I'm very happy with them. My webcam downstairs looks infinitely better than it did for just a very small upgrade. Alright, after we get the meat seared off and everything going, I will sit and talk to you guys about food or whatever the hell you guys want to talk about for about an hour. And then I will eat some stew and we're going to play, I think I'm going to play Faster Than Light tonight and we'll start a poll game tomorrow. That's the problem with stew meat. You get stuff like this in there. That's not good. You don't want to eat that. Or I don't want to eat that, I should say. It's a big piece of sinew. Okay, I smell my oil, which is probably means it's maybe even too hot right now. Probably is. I'll turn that down just a smidge. You don't have to worry too much about lighting oil on fire. It will smoke before it goes on fire. It'll smoke for about 30 seconds. It's a good way to set off your smoke alarm, though, which I don't want to do. My smoke alarm is extremely loud. Okay. I was careful not to touch the meat with my right hand, so I'm touching the seasoning salt with my clean hand. I can move it around with my hand that's already dirty. Now we're going to go ahead and cut potatoes on this dirty cutting board because they're all going to get essentially boiled for, well, or simmered for a good hour, so there's no risk of cross-contamination there. Alrighty. Okay, let's see. This should be good. Oh yeah. That noise right there, that's the good stuff. Yep, that's the noise you want when you add something to a hot pan. You don't want... You don't want a light sizzle. That's exactly what you want. Yeah, just enough to really coat the pan is all you want. The moisture... I mean, yeah, the healthier alternative didn't see would be cornstarch or arrowroot, but I mean, it's a half stick of butter for an entire pot of stew. It's not really, I wouldn't really consider it unhealthy. You just want enough to coat the bottom of the pan so the meat doesn't stick. The moisture will leak out of the meat in time, so you don't have to worry too much about having a lot of oil to keep it from sticking. What's up, Yoon Cakes? I don't know, roux's not exactly healthy, but there's a lot worse things out there. Hoodie sleeve #1 pot holder. I made savory stew with the roux it tastes a little too much like roux. Snapshot, when you add the roux, you want to make sure it's at room temperature, so you do that first. And then you have to cook it for like a good 10 minutes after you add the roux to make sure that it dissolves. Otherwise, you get that kind of gritty flavor in it. That just means the flour wasn't cooked all the way out of the roux. Roux is, I'll type it out here. Roux is yeah, 1/2 butter, 1/2 flour. I mean, I just eyeball it. Mine's a little bit thin, and that's fine. It's used to thicken soups, sauces, etc. So the flour is the thickening agent. You cook it in the butter to remove a lot of the flour elements. You can go. There's many different ways to cook roux. You can cook it for a very long time, and it darkens up. What I have right here is just a blonde roux, which is just your basic butter and flour roux. No live stereo. Yeah, the trick to getting the stew is 1, your salt level, but 2, and the most important thing for me, is making sure you get everything, you cook the hell out of the meat, because all that stuff, that brown stuff that sticks to the bottom of the pan and kind of burns, is going to equal a ton of flavor. We did season the meat lightly with paprika, a little bit of cumin, salt, and black pepper. We'll do a second seasoning afterwards. That's actually one of the reasons that I wanted to redo the stew, because I did not have a chance to show how to do the finishing seasoning, which is really important. How can you tell if the oil is too hot for searing? It can't really be too hot. If the oil's smoking, it's about to light on fire. That's how you know it's too hot. If you roll the pan, if you pick up the pan and you roll it, you'll see it is very yeah, if it sets on fire, it's too hot. You'll see it's very shimmery, even more so than normal oil. Yeah, before you finish anything, you always want to take a spoonful of it, taste it, and then figure out what you think it needs. That's probably part of being a good cook, or the biggest part of being a cook is always tasting your food and retasting it and trying to figure out what it needs. So that's the big thing, is getting that second and maybe even third seasoning going on. Oh, Dre Shack, that's a bad idea. Never mix hot oil in cold water. You will have a sizzling bad time. Alright, now we're going to cut our potatoes, and we're not going to cut our finger this time. I will show you exactly how I cut myself last time, because I know what I did. Let's go 7 potatoes, sure. That's 7, right? Yeah. Stew's really relative, too. I mean, like, I would like a lot more celery in my stew, but I don't have any. The ratio of onions, carrots, celery, and stuff you put in is really your own preference. It's not going to affect the in-flavor too much. Okay, so what we did last time is I cut down like this, and I cut down like this, and then I went to go cut like this, which is not smart, cutting into myself, and then I cut right through my finger. So this time, we're going to be smart about it. See, this way I keep the guard the entire time, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. So rather than trying to make a cut this way, we're going to just rotate it around, which takes about an extra 1/4 of a second. Now I can hear on the pot over there that some of the liquid is coming out of the meat. Now I added a lot of meat to that pan, so I may not get the most colorful sear on the outside, but what I will get, and what we do want, is to cook all of the, well, blood that comes out of the meat. Because that's where all the flavor will be, is that burned stuff. And it's getting there, but as soon as I don't hear it bubbling anymore, that's when we're going to stir it. Oh, propane burn. I've been propane burned before. You're right, that is a very bad time. But thank you all for joining me today. It seems like Cooking with Frag settled down a little bit, and I'm cool with that. I'm really looking forward to, especially this summer, doing some pretty cool stuff. But I'm always open to suggestions, so if you have something you'd like to see, especially if it's a technique, please message me here on Twitch TV so I can work it in. So I certainly have all the time in the world. I have to do, what? Another 40-something of these? For the challenge, of course. I definitely plan on continuing doing this afterwards, but we have a lot of content to cover. Another thing to keep in mind, I guess I didn't point this out last time, that potatoes are starch, so they will naturally thicken whatever you cook them with. So if you go very heavy on the potatoes, you're going to need even less roux than you normally would. So the starch will cook out the potatoes and thicken your liquid, and then, yeah. That's probably one of the worst things you can do to a stew, is over-thicken it. Much better being a little bit thinner. You'd rather just hire Frag to cook for you? Sure, man. $120,000 a year. I only work 3 days a week. Only evenings as well. That is a barefoot wine, yes, Stereo. Cool, man. Done. I'll take that. Hey, that's not overcharging. Yeah, 3 days a week, 1 meal per day, money up front. That's right. I'm gonna get that diamond encrusted, gold plated, solid gold eagle necklace from Barry Gibb. That's my plan. Yeah, full time of 9 hours a week. There we go. Now we're cooking with mayonnaise. So how does the stream look to you guys? I know that cam is a little bit dark. We can fix that though. My cameras are actually 720p at 30 frames per second now. Yeah, I didn't want to dish out like $250 for webcams when I first got this going, because I didn't know how it'd be received. So yeah, those cooking frames, damn right. Yes, I do. I posted on my YouTube, and then I'll post the complete recipe. I wing it all the time, but how I did it on that video for the YouTube, and then I'll post at least the ingredients of what you should get next week. Alright, cool, I know, yeah, I mean, I just got it set up today, so it is what it is. Okay, now we're gonna stir this up. Oh yeah, we got a nice sear on there. Now what we're looking for is as much of that color as we could possibly get. And the more of that we have, the better off we're gonna be. And this is the part that takes patience. And most people think, oh my god, I'm gonna burn the meat. I'm gonna burn the meat. But you're not gonna burn the meat. That's just straight up stew meat. You could literally cut up any kind of meat you want. You could buy a shoulder roast. You could buy some crap meat and do this with it. It's all good when it comes to stew. Nope, same mic as before. Well, this face cam has to look better than the other one. It has to. There's no... Oh, sure, I'll show you right now. This is pretty much very close to full blast. This is full blast on the burner. If you see black, you might want to turn it down a little bit, but higher the better when it comes to searing meat. So I said, well, you tell him when he tastes the delicious stew. It tastes good because you burn the meat. Get a little bit of that beard spice in there. Let's do that real quick. Just a little twist. Makes everything better. I prefer gas. Gas holds a more consistent temperature. There's nothing wrong with electric stoves. I grew up with an electric stove. It's perfectly fine. I'd say the standard for pretty much every kitchen is gas, so that's what you're used to. Oh yeah, coffee time. But yeah, I'm gonna play FTL tonight. I was doing a new game every Saturday to the stream, but the month of diversity we got going on, let's change that up a little bit. So we'll do a newer game to the stream tomorrow. I'm just gonna rock out FTL tonight. Today's kind of like my one day to sleep, which is why I kind of seem groggy when I'm here. So yeah, I wasn't feeling it. I'm a lot smaller than you thought I'd be. Okay, so upside of electric is it heats stuff up very fast because it's conducting heat to whatever you put on it. It's cheaper in most cases to use a electric stove. Gas stoves, you have a lot more control over exactly how hot the flame is, so that's really the benefit. I do not plan on doing any sous vide cooking, no. Yeah, I'm really not a big guy. I weigh 170 pounds. I'm 5'10". I'm not super skinny. I'm definitely not fat. I don't know. The beard plays tricks on people, man. I mean, I work out all the time, so I'm by no means a large gentleman. Yeah, no gas leaks. Okay, now we hear that's a good noise. That means most of the moisture is cooked off of what we're cooking. Now, I don't know if you guys can see in the pot, but it's getting much browner. It's exactly what we want. Let's see here. That right there is what you want. Now we want to make sure we get that at least on a couple more sides of the beef. Oh yeah, sure, Dincy. That's fair. It's fair enough. I mean, I understand the perception. I mean, I used to be obese, so I don't really care. I got over getting called fat a long time ago. It is sub only, Bob's uncle, for the next, well, the duration of the cooking section. We do sub only during the cooking section and AMA on Sunday, and that's it. Yeah, I did see it wasn't fun. It was not fun to lose a bunch of weight, but we got there. Yeah, Raptor, I really don't, I don't drink beer during the challenge, but I've tried probably about 350, 375 kinds of beer in my lifetime. I really enjoy the taste of beer. Doesn't mean I'm buying a 12-pack and getting wasted off all those beers. That means I've tried them with food or something, so. Well, me, man, it was an interesting time because I grew up, too, so, I probably lost about 80 pounds in 2 years. No, it's never fun, but damn, you feel good after you do it. Okay, now we're starting to get there. We got a nice, really brown meat. I'm sure you can tell the difference in the pan of exactly how dark that meat is compared to what it was. But we're not done yet. I worked with a chef. He always said, when you think the meat is done searing, leave it another 2 minutes. Always leave it another 2 minutes. I actually got into martial arts. That was probably the biggest thing that helped me. I still do bag work. I do heavy bag work pretty much after, at least every other day after the cast. So the week's Cooking with Frag is going to be posted probably tomorrow night. But wait, there's more. Start doing jazzercise. I really enjoy doing bag work. I do some free weights and stuff like that, but. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, Derek. Beer is definitely not for everybody. Some people just prefer liquor. And some people prefer to drink. It's all good. Okay, there we go. Oh, where was that piece? That was a perfect example of exactly how far to go. Well, let's find it again. There it is. That color right there, like almost black, that's fine. That's actually good. There's nothing wrong with that. That is technically burned, and that's good. Now we're going to add the onions and garlic. The purpose of adding the onions and garlic here is we want to get some of the moisture out of the onions to pull up the crap off the bottom of the pan without deglazing it first, because we still want to cook the meat even more. Now you'll see, you can't see, but there's stuff that's sticking to the bottom of the spoon. That is where all the flavor is, and it's very important that we get that out of the pan before we add our stock. That's where all the flavor is. That's all the liquid that cooked out of the meat and then down into the pan and reduced. Lifting with Frag, lethal lifter. Whoa, I just lost an onion down the fan. All right. All right. Now we add the wine. I don't know, a cup and a half. It's all good. All the alcohol is going to cook out of it. Okay, so here's what you need to do. You want to rub your spoon on the bottom of the pan and make sure that all that stuff that you cooked on there is coming off. You know, how you tell when the alcohol is cooked off is it will not smell. It doesn't smell like evaporating alcohol. It doesn't take very long, especially since wine has a very low alcohol content. Well, in comparison to like a booze or something that you actually want to burn off. All the alcohol will evaporate. Just making sure right now that all that stuff that we cooked onto the pan is coming off. Because this is the flavor bomb of our stew right here. This is where all the flavor comes from. Everything else is pretty much just added in as a gimme. Okay, we got everything off the bottom of the pan. Let it simmer down for a second, get all the alcohol off, and then we add everything else. And then after it cooks for a minute, we'll taste it, and then we'll do like a halfway salting or seasoning, and then we'll season it again right as it finishes. Absolutely, Derek. If you don't want to use wine, you can use stock. Red wine and beef go hand in hand, though. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially if you get the good sear on your meat, not using red wine is not going to hurt anything. I know some people don't like to go with alcohol. That's totally cool. You can absolutely do it with just beef stock. Oh, come on, stock. Come on, bro. Alright then. Whatever you say, man. I just committed a cardinal sin. I left stuff on my knife, so we need to clean that off now. You at least want to rinse the stuff off your knife. Leaving anything on the knife will corrode the blade, which is bad. Okay. It's going to be a tight fit for this pot, but I'll make it work. Okay. So now we got our beef stock. And all we do is add everything else. Actually, we're going to add the carrots and celery about 10 minutes after we get a simmer, because the celery and carrots are going to cook a lot quicker than potatoes. So if we add everything now, we might end up with mashed potatoes, which isn't bad, but there's another thing we can do to add texture into the dish. Whoa! Okay, so we're going to bring it up to a simmer, then we're going to turn it down all the way, and then we're going to cover it. Yeah, this is a hell of a kitchen. Hell of a kitchen. Alright. Yes, I have made beef bourguignon. It's actually quite similar to what we just did. It's very similar to making stew. Chef I work for made really, really, really good beef bourguignon. But I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. This is your time to... I wouldn't even say rebellious, pseudo. I've always gotten tattoos. I don't think it had anything to do with rebelling. I only get tattoos that mean something to me. Every tattoo I have, I don't regret. Even my meat wad on my chest, no regrets. I always have a reason behind my tattoos. I wouldn't really consider rebelling. I've always liked getting them. I'm looking forward to finishing off my tattoos. So. This is not my house, Derek. I don't own this house. But, yes, kitchen would be one of the main things I look for. Internet service and a good kitchen when I shop for a house is it. I do have meat wad, yeah. I don't even know if I can show it with my beard right now. But I'd like to finish off a sleeve this year, or at least a half sleeve. It's been a long time since I got a tattoo, and I'm itching to get one, to say the least. Okay, we're just gonna wait for that to simmer, and then we're gonna put the lid on low temperature. You almost got to see my wicked six-pack. I think I'll get some video game related tattoos. Nice Nocturnalist. I want to get one sleeve completely cooking related because a taco just deep breaths. It's really not as bad as you think. I mean, it really depends on where you get the tattoos. It does not feel like a needle, I'll tell you that much. A wicked six-pack of Miller Lite. It does not feel like a needle at all. Tattoo feels almost like you're getting cut, I guess, but never does not feel like a needle. I hate needles myself. I can never get a piercing. I'll just get a YOLO across my forehead. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Yeah, Twitch life. There you go. Yeah, the more you tense up when you get the tattoo, the worse it is. The best you can do is be completely relaxed and breathe. That being said, when I got my side piece, that was really not a reality because it was very painful. I think the area between the ribs and the hip bone was my worst tattoo experience. Yeah, I think what I want to do is I get one cooking related sleeve, and the cooking related sleeve I'm a lot more set on what I want, and then a gaming related sleeve, um, which I'd have to think a lot more about because that one has to have a lot of thought into it because like I don't like to get anything tattooed that I don't care about, so it'd have to have a lot of sentimental value um, over the entire period of my life. Cooking is easy to do that. God, I wish I could tell you the brand of the pot I'm using right now, but I can't. Maybe I can. And yes, I like to use non-stick pots. This one's not technically a non-stick. This is just a rondo. Commercial Aluminum Cookware Company. All right. This is a very old pot. We've had this one for a very long time. There's a chunk of cheese on the floor next to the island. I don't think so. No cheese. It's maybe an onion. Oh, it's a carrot. I always sweep up afterwards. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Yunker's wife. I mean, getting a sleeve is basically a lifetime commitment to having tattoos. So it's not gonna be like I'm not gonna like walk into the shop and be like, "Tap me up, bro." I'm gonna be like, I know who I want to go to and all that, and I have to give them a clear idea of what I want. So, and then to find somebody to do a gaming sleeve, I'd really have to find somebody that was a hardcore gamer and like the same games I like growing up and all that. So. Not necessarily Mr. Renz. There's actually many great tattoo artists in the town that I'm in, whether they be working in an establishment or work from home. There's a lot of really good artists here. Yeah, I'm just gonna get a tattoo of Edmund McMillan's face, like full back piece. Just so let's be doing this. I like Path of Exile. I can't tell you if I play it again, just like every other game. I don't know. I don't know. Another B town. I think I know the one you're talking about. Okay, we're starting to simmer. The little bubbles on the outside. It's begun. So now what we do is we turn it down to about, I don't know, medium low. Sure. Put the lid back on. We'll check it in about 5 minutes, see if we're actually still bubbling. Yeah, that's totally what I'm gonna do. I mean, honestly, like, tattoos take a lot of thought, so, I could do a cooking sleeve right now, because I know what I want, and then, the rest will take a while. There you go, beekeepers. I mean, you gotta be damn sure it's on you for the rest of your life. So, I prefer white onions for stew. Red onions in general have a much more they have a lot more depth of flavor. They're a lot more acidic. So red onions work great for stew, but it's not a necessity by any means. Well, yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Is have people. Well, I have to figure out exactly what characters and stuff I want, but I know we have many great artists on the stream. Yeah, I'll just get a tattoo of all my mods' names. That is a really good idea. That is a really good idea. I did horror. We beat Legend of Grimrock and Psychonauts. What dishes are sweet onions for? I like sweet onions in salads, to be honest. They have that nice, they have a good flavor to them. I like Psychonauts a lot. I could, but it'd take up most of my canvas. Did you get to do every floor, even the secret one that you normally just skip? I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't think I did a super secret floor. Maybe? I will be playing Anti-Chamber on stream. I know it's going to be a backseat fest, and honestly, the concept of the game doesn't interest me very much. I had a lot of fun watching it, but I didn't think it'd be very fun for me. Oh, I think I unlocked all the doors. I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, I hear bubbling. Are we at the right temperature? We are at the right temperature. Yeah, I'll just get a... I should get a Kappa tattoo. Should. Oh yeah, tacos would be a really good idea. That's actually a very good idea, Tadius. I cook tacos every Tuesday. But I can definitely do some fancy stuff. I can make a whole day out of that. Tacos are great. Yeah, I really do Taco Tuesday. I use a Global chef knife. I believe this is the Global G12. I've pretty much exclusively used Global knives for the past, I don't know, 4 years or so. Artichokes are tricky. Artichokes are very hard to get right. I mean, I could show how to break down an artichoke. It's not. I don't know, man. I don't know. Artichokes are a big pain in the butt. That's what they are. Alright, I can do that actually, beekeepers. Actually, I was thinking about doing shredded pork. Or pulled pork. Same thing, you just add different stuff to it. I can do that. Actually, that's actually a really good idea. Maybe we'll do that the week after salads. I can try to make shredded... I do shredded beef or shredded pork. Shredded pork sounds really good. There you go, man. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with canned artichokes, really. I just hate that stuff they're put in. Okay, we'll go down. Man, this knob gets really hot. Yeah, fish tacos aren't bad. I mean, fish tacos aren't my favorite thing. I'd much rather have a pork or beef taco myself, but it really just depends. A lot of times it's done with cod, or you can do it with fried fish too. Derek, I don't know if I do homemade pasta. Honestly, I don't have as much experience making pasta. I used to make it every week for the restaurant I worked at, but honestly, it's a huge pain in the butt to make homemade pasta. It's one of those things that takes lots of practice and time to do well. I mean, if you want to make pasta, it's very simple. It's oil, egg, flour, water, and then it's a bitch. It's something that takes a lot of practice and understanding. And Alfredo is definitely a possibility. Okay. Why did you just click at me? Don't click at me. Don't click at me, stove. I don't like that. Wow, that knob is really hot. That's crazy. Makes sense, though, I guess. I went to culinary school at the Bellingham Technical College. It actually has one of the best culinary programs in the state. I really enjoyed it. Well, there were certainly some points I didn't enjoy, but I appreciated the experience. I will say this: you don't need to go to culinary school to be a good cook. You don't need to go to culinary school to be effective in a kitchen. All culinary school does is provide you with the base knowledge that you need to succeed. Nothing more. But yeah, I'm glad I got Stew Redemption. No cuts. I have a gnarly scar on my hand right now from the last one. Sure, Killpenny. I mean, there's certainly plenty of applications where fresh pasta is very good. Is making raviolis. Mini pasta just tastes great with fresh pasta. Man, we got a pretty good set of knives with culinary school, but nothing to the caliber of like a professional knife. I think Chopped would probably be one of the only shows that I would actually go for. That being said, I don't really consider myself a professional chef. I don't have that much, well, I have plenty of knowledge, but you got me, Joe. Chopped would be about it. I'd never go on Hell's Kitchen, Top Chef, or any of those other reality shows. But, I smoke briskets. Do you have any recipes to get rid of the extra meat I usually have? Actually, you know, smoked brisket would be really good in a chili, Dremel. Or even a stew, if you can find the balance of flavor. Maybe do a stew with a lighter stock, like a vegetable broth or a chicken broth rather than a beef broth. Might find a balance between the smoky and the deliciousness that is smoked brisket. I mean, definitely smoked anything is a very powerful flavor. So you want to get it with, you'd rather pair it with something light and then season it afterwards to find the balance. If you go with something super dark and rich, you're gonna have a really there's a very fine window of what you can do with it. That would be pretty cool though if I did I could have somebody go shopping for me and then do a blind box one day. That'd be fun. I would do it. I probably might not taste good, I don't know. Unfiltered sake, the unfiltered part probably gotcha. I think that'd be fun. I think we'd have a good time doing that actually. Okay, we're almost there. It's a little bit hotter, and then we're cooking with stew. Oh yeah, I'm gonna throw some peas in there too. Let's do that. Everybody loves frozen peas. I hate frozen peas. I'll tell you right now, I hate frozen peas. However, if you add them into stew, not so bad. Turned your last stew weird? It won't be weird. It'll be okay. We're not gonna add a bunch, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of peas. Much more of a fan of corn. But come on, guy. You can do this. Okay, that's it. That's it right there. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about that open door. It's not gonna melt. It's okay. What was in the, what? Which bowl? This bowl? This bowl had carrots and onions. Okay, what we have in the stew right now is we seared our beef off for a really long time till it was golden brown. We added onions and garlic, red wine, deglazed the pan, beef broth, potatoes, let it cook for a minute, and then we added our carrots, celery, and peas. Yeah, my fridge beeps at me too, but I have about a minute and a half window. Are there any other seasonings that go with almost anything, Austin? It really depends on your palate. Like, I like cumin a lot. I can eat cumin on just about anything, from mushrooms to stew to whatever. But I mean, not everybody likes the taste of cumin, so it's something you just had to experiment with. You'll find something you really like. Yes, I would consider myself an adventurous eater. I will eat anything. I'll eat anything once. I'll try it. Maybe I'll hate it, but I'll try it. I don't really care how weird it is. I'm down to try anything once. Sure, Bam. I'm excited to do seafood. I really want to do seared scallops because I love the scallops. I've not had kangaroo meat, but I definitely try it. Sure, Derek. I need to sit down and order. New spices for myself. Whoa. I've actually had bowl fries, meat man. Pretty tasty, to be honest. Are you allergic to all sea fish or just shellfood? Or sorry, all seafood or just shellfish? I'm fine living on the outskirts of Washington. I would not want to live in Seattle. I don't like traffic. I don't like big cities. I don't like large crowds of people. So living in Bellingham is great for me. Elementology, I'll talk about that later. I don't have the site written down right now, but there's actually a site where you can order any amount of spice that you want of pretty much anything, and they're super fresh. So I don't remember the name of the site, but I will get that up soon. We'll probably talk about that next week or the week after. So yeah, basically there's an online site where you can order up to. I mean, okay, so let's say cayenne pepper. You buy cayenne pepper in this giant ass jar. You end up using eighth of a teaspoon each time you use it. So you can order a fifth that much, and it would actually stay fresh for you. Yeah, it's much cheaper. No worries, friend. Yeah, we've pretty much finished off. We got everything in the pot right now. This needs to get turned down a bit. Not nailing my temperature today. That's okay. Foie gras, I've tried it. Honestly, it's too rich for me. I don't like foie gras myself. It's just too rich. It's too much. Yep, Yoon cakes. Yep. All the Canadians shop at the Bells Fair Mall. But we'll get the lighting changed on the cutting board next week, but I'm glad the cameras look nice, and my camera for the cast downstairs should look a lot better too. Oh, I love duck. Duck is probably my favorite poultry. I do have some good, Thank you very much, Big K, appreciate it. Yeah, crockpot does work for stew, but honestly, what we're doing right here is we're making our own crockpot. Chibi, I'm not very much a sweets person. I don't like sweets very much. So I probably won't do desserts. I enjoy cooking savory food. Yeah, I've had quail. I've tried all sorts of stuff, but duck, oh god, duck fat. Duck fat should just be named God butter. The shit is delicious. I used to hate Brussels sprouts until I had them sautéed in duck fat. Oh my god. Oh my god. Duck fat is so good. It is so good. It is like the best cooking medium ever. That makes me want to get some duck just so I can sear down, the skin and have some god butter in my fridge. Oh, it's even better than bacon grease. It's 10 times better than bacon grease. It is so flavorful. It does have a very high smoke point as well, yes. Oh god, it's good. I like shellfish a lot. I didn't eat very much growing up because my mom is allergic to shellfish, but yes, I love shellfish. I love all shellfish. Yeah, greens cooked in duck fat. The way I like to do it, I really like Brussels sprouts now. That's what I like. That's what I like to have. Use my duck fat in. So I peel off all the leaves. It takes a super long time. Smoke point is the temperature that the oil will start smoking and then light on fire. So, for example, like olive oil has a smoke point of about 425 degrees, whereas grapeseed oil has a smoke point of 500 degrees. So there's different variations of oils that have different smoke points with how hot you can get them. I don't know. That's a good question. Can you buy duck fat? I'm sure you can somewhere. Yeah, the ignition point, exactly. Because oil always smokes right before it lights on fire, so that's why they call it the smoking point. I don't know, Derek. I've eaten a lot of stuff that would be considered adventurous, I guess. Come on, stew. Get down to temperature. Do what I want you to do. Oh yeah, I've gotten some major burns in kitchens before. Definitely. Does it really sell a 1-gallon tub of rendered duck fat? When we go to the bank account, we're going to take a bath. It's going to bathe in duck fat. Going to smell good. Yeah, no doubt, you and Cake. I don't even have to touch a duck. Nice. Lobster is very tricky. If you have a bad experience with lobster, you're probably not going to like it very much. Lobster has to, I don't like lobster that much unless it's cooked perfectly. If it's cooked perfectly, it is delicious. But it's very taste of the sea. Dre Shack, I do some non-meat shows. I'll probably do one next week. Ouch, Sarah Drittamine. Amazon has food. I'm never leaving the house again. Yes, Amazon does have food. Bless you, Stu. Just bless you. Okay, now we're good. Okay, let's stir this up real quick. Let's see where the meat's at. The how you know when it's done is when your when your meat's tender. It's not quite there yet. I can already just tell by poking it. It's not even close. Yep, still super hard. And that's okay. This is going to be a really hearty stew, which is how I like it. Nice. I didn't know you could buy duck fat online. I'm probably going to buy some. Yeah, I've eaten squirrel before. I'm telling you, it's out there. I've probably tried it. There's a bunch of stuff I haven't tried. You watch like shows like Bizarre Foods. I haven't tried a lot of that stuff, but as far as game meats and stuff, sure. No worries, Hayes Guild, every Saturday. Sandwich cast. That's actually a good idea. How to make a really good sandwich. That's actually not a bad deal, Saizuna. It's not a bad deal at all. Yeah, we can do sandwich. I mean, I have a press. I can also show how to do hot sandwiches too. I mean, oh god, pastrami, mushroom and garlic. Oh god, it's like my favorite sandwich. Yeah, gourmet sandwiches. I can do that. I can do that for sure. How do I make my bologna sandwich and cheese better? Well, you don't. Jambalaya, yeah, jambalaya I can actually do. Oh my god. Um, the last jambalaya recipe I had was so bad for you. It's delicious though. Yeah, go for it, Gnome. Yeah, I remember the first time I had fried bologna. My grandma back east cooked it for me, or down south, I should say. Fried bologna sandwich. I was horrified, but it was good. Ha! Duck fat fried bologna. Now we're cooking with mayonnaise. That is actually, I bet that's good. I'm pretty sure you can cook anything in duck fat and it's going to taste better. Pretty sure. That would just be kind of blasphemous, really, to use duck fat on bologna, which is like the mystery meat of mystery meats. Corned beef, if it's cooked well, brined well, cut well, can be very good. It's not my favorite thing to eat. With Velveeta, no Velveeta. Yeah, Chicken wants me to do prime rib one time. I can talk about that. That's a very long process, though. I can at least say how to get it started. There's actually good brands of bologna out there. That's true. Yeah, making your own mayo is actually really easy. It just doesn't have the shelf life because it doesn't have preservatives. Actually, I mean, mayonnaise was discovered in the 1600. It was considered like the one of the best sauces ever made. It was much different than we have it now in America and across the world. It was more of a liquidy sauce that was poured over things. Mayonnaise has been around for a long time. I forget the guy's full name, but he had mayonnaise in his name. But mayonnaise is super simple to make. If you have a blender, you can do it. There's nothing we can't fry in Texas. Nice. Oh, absolutely, yoinkers. I'm not saying anything against fried bologna sandwich. I mean, I thought I was horrified when I was a kid, and then I ate it, and I was like, wow, it's really good. Bad for you, but really good. Dim fried bologna sandwich. It's definitely a comfort food. Spade, that's not quite right. I got a different version of history. That was the first industrial mayonnaise that was made. It was the first industrial mayonnaise, but the mayonnaise sauce itself was made before that. It changed a lot in the next 150 years. But it was discovered around 1620, if my memory serves me correct. It kind of mortified you? Why did it mortify you, Bam? Hey, I wanted some chicken fried steak, and I definitely achieved my goal of having comfort food. Good morning, MrDave.com. Oh, that's not how you do it there. Fair enough. There's definitely many different variations. You can also batter it. That's another way to do it. Oh yeah, chicken fried steak was damn delicious. I could have done a better job on the sausage gravy, but all good. We are cooking stew. It's stew redemption day. Way top. Chicken pot pie is okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's in general pretty bad for you. Rematch with beef stew. No cuts, and I'm done cutting stuff. Yeah, no problem, Derek. You guys, I gotta tell you, I really hate going sub only, but thank you guys for keeping it dapper. That's probably not a bad thing, Haze Killed. Mayonnaise is not exactly good for you. Oh sure, Bam, sure. I just bought what was cheap, to be honest. You can use any kind of meat for chicken fried steak. Sausage gravy is how I've always had white gravy, though. I know you can make it without, and many places do without, but sausage is yeah, chuck steak works great. Nothing wrong with that. Yep, white gravy a lot's better. That makes sense to me. I've had it both ways, ma'am. I just I grew up on sausage gravy. That's something that my dad knows how to cook, so he always did it with sausage. Yeah, I had some chat issues earlier too. It's all good either way, man. It's all good. But yeah, ribeye is definitely not something you need to make a chicken fried steak. Chuck steak's probably actually just as good, if not better. And I am starving right now. I have not eaten today. Today is my day to sleep in, so that's why I'm kind of groggy when I first started the cast, because I pretty much sleep up until I'm supposed to cast today. So it's my one day a week where I can actually sleep. Yeah, yoinkers, the biscuits are tricky. Okay, let's see how our meat is doing now. How you doing, meat? Let's pull this piece out. This damn pan does not want to stay the temperature I want it to. Flank steak's a bit tricky. You just have to remember, if you use flank steak for chicken fried steak, you gotta remember which way the grains run. Because if you cut into it the wrong way, you're gonna have the big string. But if you cut it into it against the grain, it should work. Oh, a biscuit in the UK is a cookie. What would the UK call what America calls a biscuit? I'm trying to think what the name for it is. Dinner bun? Sure. But a biscuit in America isn't really, yeah, it's like a very dense roll. What's up, Aerogia? Thanks for being here. Well, get some rest if you don't feel well. Okay, let's taste our broth real quick. Yeah, it's like a dense English muffin, I guess is the best way to put it. But scone is not a scone in America. Well, maybe that's the British way to say it. But a scone in America is nothing like a biscuit. Okay, so you tasted our broth. It's a little bit bland. We need salt and other stuff to liven it up. So this is going to be our second tasting. We'll do another tasting when it's finished. You always want to leave your spices and stuff a little bit of time to get in there. But I can definitely get the flavor that we got from searing off the meat, so that's good. So just going to add a little, I don't know, teaspoon of salt. And where are we? Oh, I put things back in the wrong order. Oh my god. Oh my god. I always do this to myself. I have it all organized and then I put it back in the wrong order. Okay. No bay leaf. Honestly, you can put bay leaf in stew. I like putting bay leaf in chicken-based stews, a little more cumin. And chicken-based soups, more so than beef. 'cause I think that's where it needs the depth of flavor. The depth of flavor is there, and that's what I get out of a bay leaf. Okay, a little more pepper. That's probably not enough seasoning, but we will taste it again when it's closer to done and make a decision then. So the meat's probably about 15 minutes away from being acceptable. But always taste and season and taste a little bit at a time. I'd say the main thing people do wrong when they taste stuff is they say, oh, it doesn't have enough salt. And they season, and then they taste it again. They say, oh, it doesn't have enough salt, and they put more salt in. You always want to let the salt cook into the broth or whatever it is, and give it time to reach its actual flavor. So before you season, at least wait about 5 minutes before you season again. Yes, I have had poutine. Yep, exactly. You can never take salt out of the dish. You can always add more salt, so you have to be very careful on the salt levels. That is the number one thing. I did that to the sausage gravy. I added too much salt to it. It wasn't bad, but it was a little bit salty. So you always have to be careful. You don't want to add too much. Make sure you give it time to get into the entire dish and then taste it again. Salt's a great thing. It adds a lot of flavor. It's one of the main seasonings everybody uses because it makes everything delicious, but too much salt is a very bad thing. In a kitchen, how do you make dishes so fast, like on shows like Hell's Kitchen? Okay, well, that's the difference is, well, mise en place, or preparation. So, if you're cooking in a kitchen, let's say I'm standing on the line right here, in the drawers below me, let's say we're making scallops. I open the drawer, I have scallops already portioned out in little sections, I have, garlic butter, or whatever else we're going to use. So everything is already prepared for you. The only thing you're really doing as a cook, if you're prepared properly, is heating things up to order. So that's how it gets done so fast. All the hard work is done by either the prep cooks or yourself beforehand, before service even starts. Everything's ready for you. It's all just a matter of cooking it. You don't have to dick around with anything. It's just, it's all production. Good night, Reed. Have a great one. Did you enjoy the coordination factor of being a line chef? It depends on who I was working with, I guess. I certainly had people I hated working with because they weren't very organized. I had people I really enjoyed working with. That's probably the main struggle as a line cook. I prefer the prep side of things a lot more than line cooking. I'm a fine line cook. I can do it just fine, but I really enjoy the prepping side because I can work really fast. I can do a lot of things at once. I don't have anybody breathing down my neck that needs an order. Archer asks, my grandfather was a really good cook. My dad was a cook. Food's always something that's been in my life. I was kind of at a weird point where I didn't know what I wanted to do for a living, and that kind of just happened. Never in a million years would I think I would be live streaming for income ever, but it worked out that way as well. But cooking will always be something that's near and dear to me, and I want to pass on to the next generation of my family, and kind of pass on to you guys now that I have the ability to do so. My favorite part of cooking jobs was always teaching other people. I mean, most people are like, oh, fucking the green beans here, like this guy doesn't know anything. But I enjoy teaching people stuff. I enjoyed that aspect of my job, was training new people. I was always the guy that got asked to train people on how to do stuff because I enjoy it. Cooking's all about knowledge, and everybody has knowledge to share. Every single person I've worked with, I can say this, I've worked in some pretty large kitchens. Every single person I've worked with, even people that even people I didn't enjoy working with, I learned something from. So there's always more to learn. That's the one thing that stuck with me that my chef from culinary school, like a lot of people, like they come into kitchens, they think they're hot shots and stuff. They think they know everything, but those are the people that eventually fizzle out. As long as you have an open mind and you're ready to learn, not afraid to fail, you can be a fine cook, even a home cook. You just have to have that, not having that fear of failure and being willing to learn from your mistakes. I will never own a restaurant. I'll say that. How did you develop such a positive attitude towards everything? I've had a lot of struggles in my life, and I realized that the small things don't really matter. No matter how down you feel you are, there's always something positive around the corner. So you might as well enjoy the ride, because shit happens. Bad things are going to happen. It's just part of life. Okay, I'll bet our meat's pretty close now. Yeah, life is shit happening. What's the old saying? Life is 10% about what happens and 90% your reaction to it. Just true. Mm, mm. It's pretty close to almost. It's almost salty enough. But here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna mess around real quick. This might work. It might not. I'm gonna add soy. I'm gonna add some soy to it. Everybody likes soybeans. Yeah, a little bit of soy. I'm also gonna add a shot of Tabasco, and then we're gonna call that good. That should be just salty enough. You can really mess around with stew. What did the stew I made at the restaurant I worked at? It had like beer and Worcestershire, and it had soy sauce and all sorts of stuff in it. You can really mess around with. That's what I like about soups. You can really just play with them, and what happens happens. You're not gonna mess it up too bad. Have fun with it. Okay, we got about 10 minutes on this, then we're going to add the roux and call it good. Yeah, fear of failure is your number one enemy in cooking. Just put it this way: you're going to fail when you cook. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to cook something eventually that is not up to par, does not taste good. But as long as you can learn something from that, you're good. Yeah, I guess that's fair, Lofty Donkey. Saying you better off having tried and failed than not have tried at all. I would say ask her now, Joy Rock. That way you'll know one way or another, and maybe you'll have a better time at Comic Con because of it. Oh, that lazy bubble. I'm so hungry right now. So hungry. So damn hungry. I should probably set myself up so I can eat a little something before I start, because I end up being starving. The stew smells really good right now. Quite delicious. Nice, Imcam. We'll have to talk about asparagus at some point. Asparagus is such a tricky vegetable, and I think many people have a very jaded view on asparagus. They've had it overcooked or cooked wrong. Oh, I got an announcement to make. I'll make that now. On Monday, Going to be playing the new patch of Don't Starve a bit early. I'm going to get to talk to the devs of that. I'm going to talk to Mr. Kevin. So if you guys want questions or whatnot, that's your time to do so. They were nice enough to extend the olive branch, and they're going to give me the new patch of the game early. So we'll play that on Monday. Monday at 10 p.m. Pacific. So, Mr. Kevin, the lead dev for that's going to talk to me for about a half hour. I'm going to give my input, and you guys can do whatever you want. So, that cursed clown book, indeed. That cursed clown book with the movie based off of it really scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. Fucking it. Okay, so, oh yeah, we're there. Let's just taste real quick, and then we'll make a final decision on what we want to do. Also have to keep in mind that the butter is going to mount the sauce and make it taste a lot more rich. So keep that in mind. That was pretty darn good. Yeah, thanks for bringing back that repressed from Frag. No probs. Okay, we're just going to break this off. Now, since we have a room temperature roux going into this hot liquid, we don't have to worry about it clumping. We just have to make sure it all cooks out. And I'm going to add a smidge more cumin as well. But it takes about 10 minutes for the roux to fully thicken. After that 10 minutes, we are golden. But you just taste stuff as you go along. Everybody has their own palate. Some people like garlic powder or whatever. You can do what you want with your soups. Just taste, retaste, and keep going back to it. That's how you make good tasting food for yourself. Just season it a little bit at a time on every single step. Okay, I'll turn this up a bit. Just drop a bunch of awesome sauce in the stew, it'll be fine. When I do cheese sauce, I always told to use hot roux and cold milk. Okay, in Cryptio, that's actually a good point. It works both ways. It's either cold liquid, hot roux, hot liquid, cold roux. Since we're cooking a giant stew, our only option is to have our roux cold. When you're making a cheese sauce, hot roux into cold liquid works great. It goes both ways. You just need to have one or the other. We can't use cold stew for a hot roux in this occasion, so that's why we do it the other way around. But both work. Oh yeah, it's starting to thicken up already. We're just going to give this about 10 minutes, and then, oh god, I'm hungry. I am hungry. Well, you know what they say. Hunger is the best spice. It's so damn true. Absolutely, in Cryptio, it is exactly that. It's the temperature difference between your roux and your liquid that makes it not clump. You just want the opposites. So yeah, you want cold roux into hot liquid, or hot liquid cold roux into hot liquid, or hot roux into cold liquid. So that's why when you make the cheese sauce, you do hot roux into the cold milk. Sarin gas, it depends on how thick you want your stew. Let's say like a velouté would be 10% of the volume of liquid in roux. I try to go light on roux. I don't want a super chunky, thick stew myself. But it's really personal preference. I mean, I use two, was it a pint or was it a quart? Let's find out. We used 4 pints, which is 2 quarts. 2 quarts of liquid, and I only used a half stick of butter worth. Yeah, I must have, yoinkers. I just added it. Now we're just letting it cook down for about 10 minutes. And the way that you know it's done, all you really have to do is taste the liquid. If you taste any grit, or it tastes kind of like roux or flour, it's not cooked enough yet. Yeah, let me turn the camera off real quick, add these ingredients. With the butter, that's just right. But thank you all for the awesome chat tonight. I had a really good time. This is a good time. We'll do something a little more intensive cooking wise on next week. But I need to get my revenge on this stew because I cut my finger really badly last time. I'm sure the first of more accidents to come. Because that's how cooking goes, especially when you do a live show. Something's going to go wrong. What are grits? I can't tell you exactly what they are. They're a, I've cooked them many times. They come from corn, I believe. Grits are good. It's more of a down south thing. My dad loves grits, so I've eaten quite a few of those growing up. They're kind of like an alternative to, I guess, like an oatmeal. They're a pretty blank palate. Milled corn, thank you. Milled white corn. Nope, no stitches. I probably should have got 2 stitches, but I just got a scar now, so it's all good. Yeah, I've made cornbread before. Yeah, grits are amazing for breakfast. It's really a blank palette. You can put whatever you want in grits and make it taste good. Okay, you can just see by stirring this that the stew's thickened up quite a bit. And keep in mind this is ultra hot, so when it cools down a little bit, it's going to be even thicker. So I think a half stick of butter was right on the money. Grits are another one of those things that you have to practice. It's one of the simplest foods you can make, but making them taste good and making them right, it takes a lot of application. Oh yeah, we got there. We got there. I can still taste a little bit of flour, so about 2 or 3 more minutes, and we're good. Yep, just like polenta, exactly. Polenta's really good. Yeah, if you mess up cornbread, it's going to taste bad. Cornbread's one of those things like mashed potatoes that different families have different ways of doing it. So if your family ate a lot of cornbread growing up, your idea of cornbread's not going to be what somebody else's, just like mashed potatoes. I mean, I always had mashed potatoes the same way growing up, and then so if I eat mashed potatoes somewhere else, it's not that it's bad, it's just kind of alien, if that makes sense. Not even that the mashed potatoes my family made were great, it's just what you're used to. Alright, so we don't need to do a final seasoning. I'm really happy with where the broth is. Very happy with where the broth is. So we're gonna call this good. We have beef stew now. And it's not it could be a little bit thicker, but I think it's gonna firm up just fine. Especially considering it won't be boiling hot when you're eating it. It'll thicken up quite a bit more than this. We got a nice ratio of vegetables to meat. Get about 1 piece of meat and a bunch of veggies and a potato on every spoon. That's all you want. Alright, we got a redemption. Thank you all for bearing with me. I know some of you watched me do most of that 2 weeks ago, but needed to get my redemption. A little bit, Saizen. I worked for a chef that was very talented in making Chinese food. But not too much. Stew Redemption, success. Yeah, that was the finger, which I now just have a scar, so it's all good. I do not casually challenge. I'm sure somebody can point you in the right direction of the save editor for Faster Than Light, but I do not have it. Stew 1, Frag 1. Next time on Cooking with Frag. Now, we'll be done with stew for a while. I'll do a couple more soups this winter. A couple more hearty soups. Because got to get those out of the way before summer comes. Because nobody wants to eat soup in the summer. Okay, we'll do one more tasting and make sure our roux is out, and I'm quite sure it is. We're there. Learn! Alright. Done. Well, that is our beef stew finished. The main thing with stew, 1, season the meat properly. 2, season, taste, season, taste, season, taste as it's cooking. You'll get there. Victory! Alright guys, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to sit here and talk to you guys for a second. I'm going to kill the cast. I'm going to load up downstairs. We're playing Faster Than Light. Lower the camera into the stew so you can have something. Probably fog up my camera, but here. Nom 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 nom. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. Like really, when you make soups, have fun with it. Add stuff into it. You're not going to make it inedible. You have such a large base of stuff. Unless you oversalt it or really overspice it, that's the only two problems you run into. You can definitely mess with other seasonings. That is your chance to play. I want some internet stew. Yeah, casually challenged. That's how I like my stew. If I'm going to eat a... yeah, over pepper. Okay, fair enough. Don't go overkill, but you can definitely play with different spices. That's your chance to do so. Right on, Elementology. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Hoddle. I appreciate it. Obviously, the purpose of me doing sub-only on these is not to get people to subscribe. It's just to slow the chat down. I think those of you that are here when I did not sub-only for this, it was very, very trolly. And I appreciate everybody coming out to watch, but... that is not the point, but I do appreciate those that do subscribe, because that is the best way to support the channel. Okay, well, what I'm going to do now is, well, thank you, Tadius. I mean, honestly, that's where the majority of subs come from, people that want to support the channel. That's great. Yep, it looks good. That holds really well. I mean, that's enough soup to feed. If you're single, that's enough to feed you for at least a week. Okay, we're going to release the Kraken. I'm going to kill the cast. I'm going to load up downstairs. I'm going to take a break and eat, and then we'll start FTL. So thank you again, everybody, for your patience. I'll get whatever's posted or going to go happen tomorrow, or next week, excuse me, posted hopefully tonight, if not tomorrow.